And if we are going to grow our economy, not just over the next 2 years, but the next 20, we simply cannot allow poor numeracy to cost our economy tens of billions a year, or to leave people twice as likely to be unemployed as those with competent numeracy. So we have to fundamentally change our education system so it gives our young people the knowledge and skills they need and that our businesses need to compete with the best in the world. And there's no better example of that than in our creative industries. Because what's the biggest skill shortage holding our film industry back? Well, as you heard from Gillian, it's a shortage of technical skills. And so what have the London Screen Academy put on the curriculum for their 16 to 19-year-olds? Maths. Why? Because you can't make movies without maths. You can't make visual effects without vectors and matrices. You can't design a set without some geometry. You can't run a film production company without being financially literate. And that's not just true of our creative industries. It's true of so many of our industries. In healthcare, maths allows you to calculate dosages. In retail, data skills allow you to analyze sales and calculate discounts. And the same is true in all our daily lives, from managing household budgets to understanding mobile phone contracts or mortgages. Now, we also know the benefit of maths for employability and earnings. Even just basic numeracy skills can increase your earnings by around £1,600 a year. So put simply, without a solid foundation in maths, our children risk being left behind, shut out of careers they aspire to, and the lives that they want to lead. Now, in the last decade or so, we've gone up 10 places in the international league tables, and maths has become the most popular of all A-levels. But it's still the case that the UK is one of the least numeric countries in the developed world. More than 8 million adults have numeracy skills below those expected of a 9-year-old. And around a third of our young people don't pass maths GCSE. Now, it's not that we're not just good enough at maths. There's a cultural issue here too. I'll be honest. When my 2 young daughters first heard me talk about them doing more maths, they weren't too excited. And that's just it. We make jokes about not being able to do maths. It's socially acceptable. We say things like, oh, maths, I can't do that, it's not for me, and everyone laughs. But we'd never make a joke like that about not being able to read. So we've got to change this anti-maths mindset. We've got to start prizing numeracy for what it is, a key skill every bit as essential as reading. So my campaign to transform our national approach to maths is not some nice to have. It's about changing how we value maths in our country and changing the way our education system works to deliver it so that all our children get these vital skills for life. Now, parents and teachers listening to this will want to know what that means for our children today. So let me tell you. We're in the process of making maths more accessible, building our children's confidence so that they don't fear maths. We're creating more sector-specific content that can excite young people about the relevance of maths for the careers that they aspire to help teachers bring maths to life in the classroom, from building sets for school plays to calculating the angles of free kicks or the speed of a Formula One car. We're extending our maths hubs, unique partnerships of expert schools that support maths teaching. And we're strengthening maths in primary schools, including with a new, fully funded professional qualification for those that are teaching it. But we also need to address a very specific problem that's causing us to fall behind the rest of the world. We're one of the few developed countries where young people don't routinely study some form of maths up to the age of 18. They do it in Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Finland, Japan, Norway, and America. Why should we accept any less for our children? Of course we shouldn't. That's why I set out in January that we're going to change the way our system works, so that everyone in our country will study some form of maths all the way to 18. But let me be absolutely clear. I am not saying that the answer is A-level maths for everyone. But we do need to work out the maths our young people should study. So we're going to look at what 16 to 18-year-olds around the world are learning. And we're going to listen to employers and ask them what they say the math skills are that they need. And that's why today I'm appointing a new expert group who will help us identify the core maths content that our 16 to 18-year-olds need, and whether we need a new specific qualification to support that. But to repeat, that will not be A-level maths for all. And let me also be clear that we're not going to deliver this change overnight. We're going to need to recruit and train the maths teachers. We're going to work out how to harness technology that we need to support them. And we'll need to make sure that this maths is additional to other subjects, not instead of them. Just as here at the London Screen Academy, they don't teach maths instead of the arts, they teach both, because they are complementary, not contradictory. So it will take time to implement this change, but we are taking the first step today by identifying the maths content that will give our 16 to 18-year-olds the skills they need to get on in life. And when we have that, then we'll come back with a detailed plan to deliver it. I'll just finish on a personal note. Every opportunity that I've had in life began with the education that I was so fortunate to receive, and maths was a critical part of that. Now, I knew it was important then, and when I look at how the world is changing, it's only going to be more important for my children and yours. So I won't sit back and allow this cultural sense that it's okay to be bad at maths to put our children at a disadvantage. We've got to change this. We've got to value maths and what it can do for our children's futures. Giving our children a world-class education is the single most important thing we can do. It's the closest thing we have to a silver bullet, the best economic policy, the best social policy, the best moral policy. And that's why I'm proud that it's our policy, and I will never stop striving to achieve it. Thank you.